Most people work all their lives in 9-to-5 jobs. They put every spare penny they have into paying off their mortgage so that one day they can retire debt-free. And then they can tell their friends, yeah, we paid off the mortgage, we've got a paid off house. However, this is not the way to get rich. And it's certainly not the way to have financial freedom in your life. All this does is actually make the bank rich. You've spent all this time paying a load of interest to the bank, making the bank rich, and then finally when you've paid off the mortgage and you die debt-free, now your kids are probably going to end up having to pay inheritance tax on the money that you've worked for. This is not how rich people operate or think. Rich people do not rush to pay off their mortgage as quickly as possible. They don't care about looking cool in front of their broke friends and saying, oh, this is paid off. They leverage debt. Instead, they constantly refinance, using those loans to acquire and buy more houses. I've personally been involved in over 1,000 property purchases. I own properties all over the world, and I've leveraged millions and millions of pounds of debt of the bank's money to help make me rich. So today, I want to explain how you can use your home equity to refinance and buy more houses. Did you know you can use your one house to buy 5 or even 10 more houses? There's a big trend I see online at the moment about how to pay off your mortgage faster. I see people all the time like Dave Ramsey talking about live below your means and aggressively pay off your mortgage, get that debt paid off, you want it gone. But all of these people are missing something absolutely huge, which is called opportunity cost. Let me give you a case study of one of my many houses. I bought a house, it was a HMO property in Birmingham for £160,000, 5 bedrooms, and that was in 2012. I paid £160,000 for it. In order to buy it, I didn't buy it cash, but I got a loan from the bank. I got a mortgage for £120,000, meaning that my deposit was £40,000. Had a few other bits and bobs of costs, around about £10,000, but my deposit was 40, my mortgage is 120. Now fast forward to today, 2026. Well, I had the property valued last year in 2025 at £300,000. So it's gone up, almost doubled in value since I bought it in 2012, which is pretty normal in property. It will probably double again in the next 10 years. Now, the mortgage that I took out was an interest-only mortgage. And you may say, why would you not want a repayment mortgage? And then the mortgage is slowly getting paid down. And the reason is opportunity cost. See, the mortgage payments over the entire period of time have worked out an average of just £300 per month. Now, right now, they're more, and I refinanced it last year, which we'll talk about, but for years, they worked out about £300 a month. Now, my rent has been significantly higher than that because I've rented it out as a HMO, and it's been making me £1,000 clean profit every single month. Now, many people would say, well, why don't you just pay the mortgage off slowly with the rent? This is where opportunity cost comes in. That £1,000 a month that I've been making, I've been investing it into other projects. My goal is not to pay down my debts. My goal is to own more assets and have more tenants paying me more cash flow. Now, if I'd have used that £1,000 profit to pay down the mortgage slowly, I would have saved a little bit of interest payments. However, I would also lose a ton of money from the opportunity cost of not putting that money aside and investing it into buy another HMO that made me yet another £1,000 a month. Last year in 2025, I was reconfiguring some of my property portfolio and I was reassessing how much debt I've got, how much the rents are, and reassessing everything. And I looked at this particular property that I bought for just £160,000 in 2012. And now I've got 3 options. I'd like to know what you would do. Would you, option number 1, now you've got to the point where you've got a small mortgage of £120,000 and you've got £300,000 house here. So that's less than 50% leveraged. Would you now finally just pay off that small £120,000 mortgage and own it cash outright, which I could very easily do? Or would you, option number 2, sell the house? Now I bought it for 160, it's now worth 300. If I sold it now for 300, I'd have a £120,000 mortgage to pay off, which would leave me with £180,000 after I'd paid off the mortgage, which I could then reinvest. Of course, I'd have capital gains tax though then, wouldn't I? Or would you do what I did, which was option number 3, which was to refinance the property? Now, how does that work? Well, The lender that loaned me that initial 120, they gave me a 75% loan to value. What does that mean? That means they valued the property's worth 160 grand. They then loaned me 75% of the value, namely £120,000. When they give me that £120,000, all mortgage companies will want something called a first charge. A first charge means that if you ever sell or if you ever refinance the property, that they get paid back first. I can't sell for 300 grand and keep that 300 grand. No, I've got a mortgage. They get paid their £120,000 first, and then whatever's left, I keep myself. Now, when I remortgage, what I'll do is I'll go back to the same lender or a different lender, and I'll ask to get a new mortgage of 75% loan to value. But because the value's now increased, because the value's now 300, I'm now going to get 75% of 300, which is £225,000. Now that £225,000 won't come straight to me because I have to pay off my old mortgage. So the £225,000 loan will come in, but first it will pay off the lender that has the first charge, namely 120. The rest, to the tune of £105,000, will go into my bank account and I'll pay no tax on that. And the reason I'll pay no tax on that £120,000 is because it's not profit. It's only profit when you sell. When you refinance, it's a loan, it's a new loan. That £105,000 now that's hit my account is debt. So what will I do with that debt? I'll now use that to buy another 2, 3, 4 houses. Because if I wanted to buy another house now worth 200 grand, I'd need a £50,000 deposit. So I could very comfortably use the equity from that first property to now buy 2 houses. Now you might be wondering, but Samuel, what about the new mortgage payments? Because if you've now got a mortgage of £225,000 as opposed to just a small mortgage of £120,000, does that not mean that you have to pay more to that lender? And the answer is yes, but let's do a little look at the math, shall we? When I first took out that mortgage in 2012, we're going to work on the basis of 4% because base rate right now is 3.75%, and lots of lenders will give you a 4% interest on your fixed term when you take out a mortgage. If I've got a mortgage of £120,000 and I'm paying 4%, 4% of 120,000 is £4,800 per year. That is £400 per month. Now I said that on average I was only paying 300. That's because rates now are a little higher than they have been historically over the last 10-15 years. So comparing apples for apples, with a £120,000 mortgage, I'm paying £400 per month. However, when I bought the property, and it was obviously a good buy when I bought it because I did the maths, I knew what I was buying, how much was I getting in rent? Well, in 2012, my HMO rooms in that 5-bed property were renting for £350 per month. How much am I getting now? Well, the same rooms now are getting £700 per month. So the rent has literally doubled. So yes, when I refinance, I'm now going to be paying a little bit more because 4% of a £225,000 mortgage is £9,000 per year, which is £750 per month. So the interest payments have not quite doubled, but almost doubled. 400 to 750. But the rent has gone from £21,000 per year, which is £350 a month times 5 times 12, to £42,000. So even with the higher mortgage and with the slightly higher rates, I'm actually cash flowing more from that property after I refinanced it last year than I was when I first bought it in 2025. Now you might be thinking, Samuel, this strategy is great if house prices continue to go up and up and up over the years, but what happens if they don't? What happens if you buy a house for 300,000 and in 10 years, it's still worth 300,000? Well, firstly, that will be extremely unlikely because inflation brings the value of money down. And as the value of money goes down, even if the value of a house stays the same, the price of the house will go up. An example of this would be my late grandma's house, who bought her first property for £2,000 and she had a £1,000 mortgage, and she spent 10 years paying off the mortgage when she was a young woman, and before she passed she said, I shouldn't really have bothered, should I? I should have just let inflation take care of it. So it's very unlikely that house prices won't go up. But also, you don't wait for house prices to go up. What smart investors do is they buy properties where they can force the value up. And they can do this by buying properties that, for example, are in bad condition. They might have structural problems. They might not be mortgageable. Maybe they've got a very high EPC rating or a short lease. And what smart investors do is they'll calculate the cost to fix that problem, which might be £20,000, but they know they'll be adding £60,000 worth of value. Meaning that when we buy properties, we don't wait for the value to go up, we force the value up. And then once the value's gone up, we've now created equity in that property. What do we then do? We then get a new loan to value mortgage where we borrow 75% of the new increased value, which means that we pay off the old mortgage and the difference that we're left with goes into our bank tax-free, which we can then use to our next property. And this is how wealthy people use the same pot of money over and over and over, and they recycle it, buying more and more properties. This is how you can buy 10 houses with the same £50,000 pot of money. And the best part is, even if you haven't got that £50,000 to start with, you can borrow it from somebody else, because 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. If you borrow someone else's £50,000 and put it into a company between you and them, the £50,000 is loaned to the company. Now the company can go and purchase a property, push the value up, refinance, give them back their £50,000. And you know what they're going to say? That if their company, partnered with you, has just basically got a house for free with a high cash flow tenant in there. It's like if someone puts £1 in a slot machine and gets £2 back, they're going to keep doing it again and again and again because you know what you're doing. Meanwhile, you're going to get richer and richer and richer, starting with somebody else's money. Or maybe you have got equity in your home, and it's what we call lazy money. It's just sat there, and you've been duped by the likes of school education and these YouTubers and these books saying, pay off the mortgage. Maybe your lazy money, your equity in your own home, you could refinance and buy a property, push the value up, refinance that property, and go again and again and again. And then instead of living off of your job, where you're trading time for money, you're now living off of your passive income, where you're making your money, your lazy money, work hard for you. Somebody reached out to me on Instagram, and his name was Elijah. He had no money, he was living with his parents, and he was sharing a bedroom with his brother. He was making £1,500 a month, and he asked me, can someone like me get into property? He ended up doing some free training with myself. I got to know him, and he found a property in London, and it was a little bit run down, and it had a short lease. And he worked out, based on the mentoring and support that he'd got from myself and the team, that this was a good deal. He worked out he could buy this property, extend the lease, and then he'd be increasing value to the property. He worked out that if he had his own money, he could buy it, he could increase the value, and then he could get all of his deposit back upon the refinance. The problem was he didn't have any money. But because he'd found the deal, because he had the opportunity there, he managed to find an investor who put the money into the deal. And guess what? When they refinanced, and the investor got the money back, the investor wanted to do it again. In fact, he's since bought 4 houses in the last year using investors' money. He's got so good at finding deals that he finds deals and he sells them on to investors. In the last 5 days at the time of filming, he's made £25,000 from deal sourcing, just passing on deals to investors, as well as buying properties for himself. So if Elijah can do that from London, starting with no money, just think what you could do with your intelligence, with your skills. The fact that you're watching this video means you probably know a thing or two about business. You've probably got a little bit of oomph and a fire in your heart, ready to take action too. So if that's you, I would like to train you for free and show you exactly what Elijah did and what hundreds and hundreds of my other students have done to build wealth with property. So I'm going to be running a training session. It's completely free and there are limited spaces. So the link is below. Click the link, register your spot right now before it's too late. And I look forward to showing you exactly, step by step, what to do so you can build financial freedom in your life.